What's up, everybody? Excuse me. My name is Alex, and welcome to The Broth, the most fun, serious show on the internet. We're live in the Cauldron, and today we are talking about Trump versus Massie. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm a diehard Trump supporter, and I'm going with Massie on this, but I have a little bit of a twist to how I see this, as usual. So, we're going to get into some other stuff first. Should be fun. My contribution to the JD Vance meme craze. I think I have one of the best ones. The X algorithm either doesn't work or I'm shadow banned, because a gem like this certainly deserves more. Let's check it out. This is my contribution. I made this from scratch. Let's see here. Let me get myself a little, and we'll get into it. But yeah, I did this yesterday, and I'll share with you how I did it. It was really fun. So JD Vance's face is taking over the internet, and here we have a game. I call it JD Bird or Flappy Vance. He's collecting hamburgers. And I did post it at like 2 a.m. PST, so I guess that could be why. Elon says that he doesn't shadow ban people, but Grok says he does, and that I'm probably shadow banned. So it is what it is. I'm just happy to be here. But come on, I mean, this is an effort post. I made actually a semi-functioning game. This is a video of a screenshot of a game. And I started doing this because I used to do web development and coding, software engineering, that sort of thing. And I hadn't really played around with AI's ability to write code and apparently excels in making games. And so that's what this is. Let's see. Somewhere I can show you some more. I think my CodePen thing is gone, and I didn't sign up, so it's probably gone forever, but that's okay. I told it to make a game like Flappy Bird. I gave it a link to this image of JD Vance's face that had no transparent background. I said, put this on the head, use this as the head, make it, have the ability to look both directions. And it took me about an hour. And it's very cool. When I was doing software, that did not exist, the ability for AI to create code, at least not, in the wild where we could use it. This would take all day, not an hour, and it's only going to get better. So very, very cool. It was a lot of fun. I started out with it being Trump, and I was like, wait, no, we're doing JD memes right now. I'm a little late, but whatever. It was fun. The song, this is how thorough your boy Alex is. The song is JD Vance's favorite Death Cab for Cutie song as an 8-bit video game. So yeah, good times. What else before we get into the Rumble, the showdown of 2025, dueling visions, perhaps, of America First. We have, dying on the hill of your principles, Thomas Massie, the beloved, versus the beloved, pragmatic, plays the game Trump. And we're going to take a little bit of a look into Thomas Massie, who he is, why he is so loved. It seems like, I would say, just, the naive view of this is that either Trump just doesn't know anything about this guy and made a huge error in thinking that he should take him on, not realizing he's a beloved guy. That would be one sort of a naive perspective. Another would be a more cynical perspective that he's going after the only anti-AIPAC Republican in Congress on behalf of AIPAC, basically. But I have a third point of view, and we'll get into that. In the meantime, let's just talk about Massie, some of his accomplishments, why we love him, and it'll be good. So, like I said, this is the principled. I won't vote against my principles no matter what, versus the pragmatic. You got to play the game. In terms of philosophy of politics, and I think both have their place. And a theme of mine is sort of you need all types of people in your battles. So not only do what I would take as sometimes you have to be principled, sometimes you have to be pragmatic, but I also appreciate the person who is, as long as there's principles behind it, leans towards pragmatism, and the people who are sort of stubbornly principled. I appreciate both of those. I love both of these guys. But I hate that Trump is calling out Massie, and like I said, I support Massie in this. But I think Trump's cooking something as usual. I'm coping about Trump, as some of you would say, as usual. But if someone can show me where I've been wrong yet, not where I look wrong, but where I'm actually wrong, I'd love to see it. So, Clash of the Titans on March 12th. Today, I guess it was yesterday, Trump attacked Massie for voting against the omnibus extension. And ironically, Massie's whole purpose for voting against it is he didn't want to continue a budget that continues all this wasteful spending that DOJ is finding. And the Trump administration mandated, and the people mandated, to get rid of. So he's being attacked by Trump basically for standing up for the principles that Trump represents. But I guess on the surface, Trump is mad at him not kind of following orders and not being a loyal soldier to Trump. Now, if that's what he wants, there's another way to go about this that I think would be better if he isn't cooking up something, with, I'm not saying it doesn't have 4D chess. This would be regular chess. This would be politics. But if the naive principle is true and he wants Massie to get in line and be a loyal soldier for the Trump movement and the Trump administration, then he should do what he's best at, which is sit down with the man and make a deal with him, So that's my view of it. So let's talk about Massie. He was born in 1971 in Kentucky. He's an MIT engineer. The man has 29 patents. He's a genius. Am I missing something? I feel like I'm looking at the wrong notes. Bear with me for a second. Oh, amateur hour. And that is what this is. Until I make money. Until you guys start sending me money. Right? Here's this. Yeah, I should have that. Okay. All right. We're cooking here. Here. Copy that. Get rid of that. Oh, okay. It's just hidden. Okay, I was totally right. I just didn't see that that was hidden. Okay. So here's Massie and his family, his beautiful family, and one of the most based Christmas Christmas family photos in world history. Um, and like I said, he is a something of a genius. Here I have uh, I've added him a okay, here we go. So here I've quote tweeted them with this, and he actually liked it. Look at me with the like from Thomas Massie himself. Probably the most proud engagement on X, probably. But this is what I'm responding to. Check this out. Here's something invented a few years ago to utilize my surplus winter solar power. When the wrecked Model S batteries that run my house, bro bought a battery off a Model S that had been wrecked. And himself, instead of buying the power wall, he probably got that at a nice discount, and he rigged this whole system up himself. And then he invented a way. He says, I divert when the batteries are fully charged, I divert my solar electricity to hot water heating elements that are tied to my hydronic radiant floor heat. Free heat. So this is freaking amazing. Bro is a straight up MIT engineer and inventor, and he's doing this is sustainable stuff. This is homestead stuff. Family with the guns. What's not to love? This is MAGA, you know, through and through. Honestly, this is like a more sophisticated version of what Trump is proposing generally in many ways. So here we have, he's even got a visual representation of the wrecked Tesla. I wonder if that's symbolic in any way. And then we have, here's the whole system. Like, how freaking cool is this? Dude is literally Doc. Here's his house. Dude is literally Doc. And tragically, his wife in this photo died, and she died somewhat mysteriously. Massie was sort of insisted that there wasn't anything, don't be conspiratorial about it, but then we kind of can't help ourselves. God bless his family and his wife. I'm sure she is in heaven or possibly purgatory. Either way, on her way. And what an awesome guy! What an awesome family. So yeah, MIT. He's an inventor. 29 patents. Off-grid lifestyle. Independence. You know, he's sort of a sweet spot of like I'm less of a libertarian, but he's like a hardcore Christian libertarian, gun enthusiast. What's not to love? He said he's sort of the heir to Ron Paul's view in many ways. He won, and we're going to talk about Ron Paul though, and why I'm not a libertarian briefly, because I think there is a Ron Paul recently made a statement that just really shows the absurdity of libertarianism and taking to an extreme. He's, I think, completely wrong. And so there is a place in which philosophically I'm more of a Trumpist than I am than I agree with Massie, and that is I'm not a libertarian, and we'll get into that briefly. But he won his seat on fiscal restraint and a constitution focus. Now, the Constitution part is he's a constitutionalist. This is someplace where I really agree with him. And it's crazy that lawmakers have to even say that that's something that you run on. Like, it's the foundation of our government. And he's staunchly for the idea that the government has to follow the Constitution. Like, yeah, I don't know. Apparently that makes him, different than everybody. But like I said, I'm not a libertarian, and here is Ron Paul demonstrating precisely why.
Weekly report. Tariffs are theft.
What?
The U.S. and hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to the weekly report. Tariffs are theft.
Like, huh? We can't make other countries pay for access to our markets? Get out of here, bruh. I love Ron Paul. And I agree with him on a lot. Can make it so his face got fatter with every burger. That's what one of my ex mutuals said too. I probably could. Let's see. Massie is good on Israel, but I've really evolved past that campaign for liberty scene, the Ron Paul scene. I agree. Massie and Ron Paul are libertarians. Exactly. Thanks for being here, friendly.
The U.S. and China came closer to a full-fledged trade war last week when China imposed tariffs of up to 15% on key U.S. agricultural exports.
Yeah, so anyway, it's the same thing with taxes being theft. Like, what is authority? You know, do we grant certain people authority in society or not? Because if we do, and you know, they're supposed to have our best interests in mind, but as not a libertarian, I believe that you do, that you have to, that you know. I was watching what's his name, the comedian with the glasses. It'll come to me yesterday, and he was talking about how libertarianism just leads to like corporations just have the power and they are so much of the problem. You have to have, you can't, if the government is small enough to drown in a bathtub, then the corporations can drown it in a bathtub every time they want to do something that's bad for society. So yes, the government does have a right. Now the way that we're taxed is outrageous. You know, I'm paying income tax on the money I make, and then I pay the tax again when I spend the money on sales tax. And if I buy a house, then I have to pay taxes on the house that I bought with the money that was already taxed twice. And it's ridiculous. But just taxes are theft that no one has any right to, you know, do anything. Like, okay, so, you know, maybe we could agree that taxing your own citizen base is a bad way to fund the government. Well, that's what Trump is saying, and he's saying we're going to do it using tariffs. But apparently it's a terrible, big moral failure to tax other countries. That's theft. We're not allowed, like, okay, you know, let's use your language. Well, we're going to steal from China, who's our adversary, to fund our government. Sounds good to me. And you know, it's like that's like you know, charging a subscription to subscribe to like Spotify. Is that theft? Because that's sort of like, it's like, here's your, if you want to import your goods in America, you want to access the markets. You guys get what I'm saying. So I'm not a libertarian, but I love Massie, and let's continue. Yeah, he's known for his solo stands against both parties. He'll be the only guy. He's that guy from the meme standing up in church at the pews, being the only guy like, excuse me, but you know, such and such. And I respect that. I don't have any loyalty to any political party, and he's loyal to his principles, even if I don't agree with all the principles. He thinks sanctions are an act of war too. It's such a market-based oversimplification. Yeah, absolutely, man. Roy Johnson, what up, man? Thanks for being here. Let me make that a little bigger. Remember Donald Trump's I've never done nothing wrong after breaking all the commandments. Not me. I never asked for forgiveness from God. Never done nothing wrong. I mean, okay, not really relevant to what I'm talking about right now, but I'm glad you're here. Thanks for being here. Um, and yeah, Trump is a morally flawed person. I made a video in the early AI mimicking voices days. I made a speech of Trump, and it was like what I wished he would say. And the first thing he said was that he's a sinner and that he repents for his sins and may Christ forgive him. We all want to see that. But have we as a society earned that guy as our leader? I think we're quite a bit far away. As much as there are Christians that want that, our society is pretty degenerate. People tend to get leaders that are closer to what what our society reflects, and you hope that they're a little better rather than a little worse. Friendly says, "I'm the biggest sinner I know." Yeah, man, I'm not better than Trump as far as I can tell. Although I probably, as a Catholic, do a better job repenting. But I don't know what his private life is. He doesn't talk much about his spiritual life. And one thing I appreciated about him, and then I'll get back to the point, is that he did say that he's a believer, a Christian believer, but he doesn't know as much about it as he should. And I appreciated that humility. He's not always a humble guy, but when it came to his faith, he expressed humility, and that goes a long way with me. So anyway, yeah, Massie. So some examples of his what he's been up to in Congress. The Prime Act. He was pushing to free small farmers from USDA red tape that went along with his legalized hemp advocacy. Basically, like, bro understands farmers. He wants small farms to do well, and he's trying to get rid of legislation that it gets in their way. One of the things that he was championing was there's regulations that make it really, really difficult for small-scale operations to follow them. So there used to be tons of small family-sized meat processing and meat packing stuff, and it's similar to pasteurization. Like they imposed pasteurization as mandatory, and the equipment necessary is expensive, and so a large-scale production can cover that no problem. Small-scale production, it's much harder. So yeah, he's a champion of the farmer. Trump also champion of the farmer, although as a New Yorker, he might not know as much. Certainly doesn't know as much. The 2025 budget bill is the thing in question. I'll get back to that. But also, he has pushed for audit of the Fed and Fed transparency a lot. That's huge with me. That comes from the Ron Paul school of thought. That's my favorite thing about Ron Paul is he's 100% right about the Fed, Federal Reserve, that is. And then another thing that Massie is known for is in his among his constituents, really helping individual people, like really having an open door and fighting for his citizens on an individual basis, whether it's him himself or his office, his employees. He's known for that. So, we need more of that. And so that brings us to the 2025 budget bill. So my understanding is the budget bill, it's just continuing the budget. It's a continuing resolution. That means that the Congress didn't do their jobs and come up with a budget that's in line with the will of the people, with the new presidency and all of that. They didn't basically do anything, so they're just kicking the can down the road. And rather than shut down the government, they're just renewing the previous budget. And Trump endorsed that, and he has his own valid, I'm sure, political reasons for doing that. He's dealing with plenty without dealing with the government shutdown right now also, so I respect Trump's reasoning, and I respect that he called for the Republican Party to get in line behind the mandate and behind the presidency, etc. But at the same time, Massie, he's not that guy. Like I said before, if you want him to be your loyal soldier, you better bring him into the office and have a conversation and understand who he is and where he's come from and why he does this, and make it appealing to him. Show him that this isn't compromising his principles. Trump ripped Massie on Truth Social with two posts, called him names, did all the stuff that Trump does when he goes after somebody. Love him or hate it, love it or hate it. This is what he does. Massie replied with one of the most epic tweets I've ever seen. I'll bring it up. POTUS is spending his day attacking me and Canada. The difference is Canada will eventually cave. Based? Real N-word alert? Badass? Bro is stronger than the nation of Canada. And he's absolutely right. And that's funny. And I feel like it kind of gives Trump his due at the same time, Like you're respect your best Canada, but you don't know who you're messing with here. So I loved that. Like I said, this represents a bit of a philosophical divide. We've got Massie, Mr. No Spending Without Cuts, no compromise, hates the influence of cash, would never take money from the Adelsons, the only Republican to not take APAC money. And then you got Trump, Mr. Dealmaker, Mr. Pragmatic, Mr. Sure you can buy a seat at the table. And some people think they bought the table. I disagree with that. But it's kind of a fun proxy for, stimulating discussion and stuff like that. So the question is, what is Trump doing? And like I said, the two kind of naive approaches or without reading too much into it, the true things you could think that's going on is one, Trump just made a blunder. He doesn't know how loved Massie is, and he treated him like, just any old congressman. He doesn't realize that people have tried to primary Massie several times. And then there's the darker possibility, which is that Trump is acting kind of on behalf of AIPAC and trying to get rid of the one Republican thing. Now, I have a different theory. And in order to best express this, let me share a couple things. Let me show you a couple things here. All right, I'm experimenting with using Grok to generate my notes and stuff, and it's kind of left me in the lurch here because I had these great links and they got lost. But I got him. Oh, I think this is my mistake actually, and not Grok. I can't blame. But no, it was Grok's fault. It was Grok's fault. Okay. Well, we'll just find him real quick. Trump, Kim Jong. Now these are from anti-Trump people, which is kind of funny. So here's how it started with Trump and Kim Jong-un. Started with Little Rocket Man and stuff like this.
Getting a good picture, everybody, so we look nice and handsome and thin.
Beautiful.
Perfect.
He's like, this dude just called me fat. Like, Little Rocket Man, my button works, yours don't. Calling him fat to his face.
Handsome and thin.
And then Kim Jong-un responding, calling him a doting the dotage of a doting dotard or whatever he said. These guys were at each other's throats. And there's nuclear bombs involved. And everybody's like, this is horrible. And then they become best friends. And then the people who hate Trump are once again, this is terrible. Why does he like this guy? It's called diplomacy. Dude has nukes. A second ago, we were talking about he's the biggest threat in the world when Obama was president. And then this is where it ended up, if I can find this real quick. Oh, I had such good links.
Tremendous. I feel really great. We're going to have a great discussion, and I think tremendous success. We'll be tremendously successful. And it's my honor, and we will have a terrific relationship, I have no doubt. I feel really great.
Right, so then they're doing stuff like this. It became a love story. It started out with straight up attacks, and it became a love story. Now, why would he do that? Well, we can't get into his head, but let's see. I fell in love. Apparently, it's a bad thing. Like, yeah, okay, great.
And we would go back. I was really being tough, and so was he. And we would go back and forth, and then we fell in love. Okay? No, really. He wrote me beautiful letters.
Okay.
I was really
He wrote me
tough,
beautiful
and
letters.
so was he.
All right, so the effect of this was you had Kim Jong-un, who was maligned by the media as a completely unreasonable, unhinged dictator and the greatest danger to America, maybe outside of Putin during the Obama years. And so Trump created a very visible, hostile fight between the two of them. And over the course of this fight, then you have, does he nuke us? No, he calls him a dotard, right? And you have this battle, and Kim Jong-un is kind of funny. He's kind of likable. He's a human being, And by the end of it, the American public doesn't feel like this guy's an unhinged threat. He's just kind of a cute foreign dictator who, if you're on the left, needs to treat his people very differently. But it totally changed the perception of him. I think it shows that he's not scared of him. Trump handled that well. Totally. It's like, listen, these guys aren't going to, hey, don't worry, these guys aren't going to push me around. All right, so what if this is Trump is cooking something similar? Now in here, Massie is not, in a way he is adversarial to the Trump administration because he's not going along with what Trump is saying. But I think more relevant here is Massie is an anti-Semite in the media. According to the media, he's the left sees this and are scared and horrified, which is part of why we on the right love it so much. Right? This is evil. This is white supremacy. This is bigotry. There's nothing redeeming about this. And then he calls out AIPAC, and that's anti-Semitism. If you don't take money, excuse me, but if you aren't taking money from Israel, you must be some kind of a Jew hater. So what I'm predicting, and we'll have to see, I don't think Trump didn't know who this guy was and made a stupid, unforced error for no reason. And I don't think that he's doing this on behalf of AIPAC. Of those two, that second one would be more likely if you hadn't followed all of the things if you weren't aware of how the balance of what Trump does being in favor of Israel versus things they don't want to happen, then it would look like that. But yeah, what I'm predicting is this is going to be one of the many adversary to worthy adversary to love letters and friendship arcs that are going to create massive respect for the country who doesn't know Thomas Massie for him, which would be pretty brilliant. And my point with the Kim Jong-un thing is that Trump, this is part of the Trump playbook. This is a thing he does. So that's my theory. Now, in the meantime, I'm supporting Massie on this. This is a rare me taking somebody else's side than Trump. But I can't just advocate, we can't assume 3D chess at every turn. When he does something that looks like something we don't like, we should say so. So Massie's solid on the Second Amendment too. Yeah, I feel like this is a perfect visual aid for that. Yeah, I mean, he's better on a lot of things than Trump, but he loses me with some of the libertarian stuff. So yeah, this concludes my presentation. Thank you for coming to class. Yeah, I'm not really sure what else to talk about. Let's see. Let's just do some more of this. Oops. Trump versus. Oh my God, I can't use my keyboard. I wonder what this is. This looks fun. Thanks, friendly.
Is the main
Oh, the
here,
main governor
man?
thing. This is great.
Are you not going to comply with it?
I'm complying with state and federal laws.
We are the federal law.
Boom.
Well, you better do it. You better do it because you're not going to get any federal funding at all if you don't. And by the way, your population, even though it's somewhat liberal, although I did very well there, your population doesn't want men playing in women's sports. So you better comply because otherwise you're not getting any federal funding.
See you in court.
Every state, good. I'll see you in court. I look forward to that. That should be a real easy one. And enjoy your life after governor, because I don't think you'll be in elected politics. Every state has a responsibility to comply with Title IX. They have an obligation, a legal obligation, and we'll be enforcing aggressively, and we're going to be protecting our citizens. We're going to protect.
Here's him versus Lindsay. Why doesn't this search algorithm work? Okay, we did that.
North Korea, he's allowed a good thing.
This is like, I think this is like peak feud between
You know, a
the
lot
two
of
of them.
times the press would say he gets along with Kim Jong-un, North Korea. He's allowed nuclear weapons. I got along with him great. You were never in danger with me as your president. It's a good thing to get along, not a bad thing. I used to tell him, why don't you do something else? All he wants to do is buy nuclear weapons and make them. I said, just relax, chill. You got enough. You got so much nuclear weapons, so much. I said, just relax. Go to let's go to a baseball game. I'll show you what a baseball. We'll go watch the Yankees, or we'll come watch Michigan at its home opener. Okay.
To do this, she's going to
Let's
do
just do
that,
some
she's
fun
going to do
Trump
all these
stuff.
wonderful things. Why hasn't she done it? She's been there for 3.5 years. They've had 3.5 years to fix the border. They've had 3.5 years to create jobs and all the things we talked about. Why hasn't she done it? She should leave right now, go down to that beautiful White House, go to the Capitol, get everyone together and do the things you want to do, but you haven't done it, and you won't do it because you believe in things that the American people don't believe in.
This final statement,
You
he's went to
believe in
85.
Things like, we're not going to frack, we're not going to take fossil.
Yeah, man, everybody pray for the people, Alex Jones and the InfoWars people. This is scary stuff, man. One of their staff members got murdered, and then Chase Geiser, one of their other staff members, got swatted twice within like 12 hours or 24 hours. They need to find out who's behind that and like put people in prison, because this is not okay.
Obama thought we were going to go to war. I said, what's the biggest problem? He said, North Korea. But I got a call, and it was from him, meaning his people. They wanted to meet. He said, I have a red button on my desk. I said, I have a red button also. but mine's bigger than yours and mine works.
I liked how you called him Little Rocket Man.
I said, yeah, Little Rocket. I said, Little Rocket Man, you're going to burn in hell. And it was a rough, so rough that people were worried. This is crazy. And I said, do you ever do anything else? Why don't you go take it easy and relax? Go to the beach. You have beautiful beach, nice beachfront property. Kiddingly. He said, you're always building nuclear. Just relax. You don't have to do it. Obama thought we were going to go.
Yeah, Obama literally told him when he came in office that Kim Jong-un was the biggest threat, and like they they ended up best friends by the end of the first term, writing love letters. So yeah, I think this is the Trump playbook, man. Like what immediately happened is a huge outpouring of support for Thomas Massie and a huge amount of people who didn't know who he was finding out who he was. So we'll see. We Fell in Love is my favorite. It's so funny. Yeah, this is the other clip I wanted.
I feel really great. We're going to have a great discussion, and I think tremendous success. We'll be tremendously successful. And it's my honor, and we will have a terrific relationship, I have no doubt. I feel really great. We're going to have a great discussion.
It's crazy how, it's crazy how the left, you have to be mean to people. It's like they think it's a sin to get along with people that they don't like, whether it's a quote unquote dictator or it's like your quote unquote racist uncle or conservative grandpa or Christian aunt or whatever. You have to be mean. It's really sick. Trump said there was a thing today. Who was he talking to? Oh, it was him and the, Prime Minister of Ireland. And he was talking about how during his speech, he said, the Democrats wouldn't clap for, like, the kid with cancer or anybody. And how that they're sick people. And, like, that's not to say, like, everybody who supports the Democrats is a sick person. I think that they're, just living in an alternate reality where they believe a lot of lies. But the people that are in those chairs, I agree. That is freaking disgusting behavior. And they keep losing. A lot of people, I haven't really said this because a lot of people have already said it probably better than I could. But, like, this is cool. We'll play that in a second. But the Democrats are backed into a corner where they're stuck defending indefensible things that America's completely fed up with, like keeping men and women's sports and keeping the border open and giving money to putting up illegal immigrants in like luxury hotels and all this stuff. And it's like they can't get out of it. They thought they were going to be in power. It's like they thought they were going to be in power forever, regardless of what positions they had, and no one would challenge them. And now they're losing power, and their positions are challenged and are outrageous and ridiculous. And they're incapable. They have no leadership, and they're incapable of pivoting. And all they seem to be able to do is find what deep state funding they still have left to fund burning Teslas. Like, what a crazy thing to witness. When Obama got elected the first time, the Democratic Party looked completely unstoppable. It was like they won, their ideas won, the Republicans look racist. I predicted when he won the first time that the response would be the Republican Party kind of becoming competing with the Democrats for being like tolerant and stuff was never going to work, and that the only thing that they could do would be like sort of lean into being racist and stuff. And at that time I thought that was, it depends on how you define racism, obviously, but like, leaning into nationalism and sort of the true identity of America is how I see it now. And I was right instinctually that that's sort of what Trump was. And really, like, the force behind Trump is sort of ironically the opposite of like what they call him. You know, they call him Hitler. What he really is a very friendly and compromising and reasonable face of an energy that's behind him, which is like a reaction to, you know, our nation being destroyed and our people being replaced, which I think is the way to go, because I think that we do need someone to bring the country together a bit in order to make people understand, to let people let their guard down a little bit and understand that, like, yeah, this country was created by and for white Christians, and that has changed, and that change brings us further away from that this country is not founded on you know, being a melting pot, and that, you know, we sort of have to accept in some ways the changes that have been made, but like also protect it and save it. So at least as a bridge, at least as like a leader that can take us to a place where our ideas can win the hearts and minds of more people. I don't know. Well, let's check this out. It says, here's the video Trump showed Kim Jong-un to illustrate the type of future North Korea could have. This is the type, like, and only instead of what everyone else did is they refused to talk to the guy. Meanwhile, Kim Jong-un, like, loves the NBA, so loves America, basically. And they're like, you're an anathema, you know, we're never going to talk to you. And then it seems like his only hope is to, like, stockpile nukes. Trump comes in and is like, have a seat. Take a look at this.
7 billion people inhabit planet Earth. Of those alive today, only a small number will leave a lasting impact. And only the very few will make decisions or take actions that renew their homeland and change the course of history. History may appear to repeat itself for generations. Cycles that never seem to end. There have been times of relative peace and times of great tension. While this cycle repeats, the light of prosperity and innovation has burned bright for most of the world. History is always evolving, and there comes a time when only a few are called upon to make a difference. But the question is, what difference will the few make? The past doesn't have to be the future. Out of the darkness can come the light, and the light of hope can burn bright.
Who made this?
What if a people that share a common and rich heritage can find a common future? Their story is well known, but what will be their sequel? Destiny Pictures presents a story of opportunity, a new story, a new beginning, one of peace, 2 men, 2 leaders, 1 destiny.
I can't believe I didn't know about this.
A story about a special moment in time when a man is presented with one chance that may never be repeated.
Hold on, let me take it back real quick.
And is presented when a
Hold on.
Story about a special moment in time. One
Hold
destiny.
on. Okay, right here. Stop right here. Fake news. Okay. CGI. Okay. Fisheye.
A story about a special moment in time when a man is presented with one chance that may never be repeated. What will he choose? To show vision and leadership?
I hope whoever made this still works for Trump. Or not. Uh-oh.
There can only be 2 results. One of moving back.
Yeah, you don't have those, do you?
Or one of moving forward.
I love how they leaned into They leaned into his love of American cinema.
new world
You know,
can
they like
begin
made one
today.
for him.
One of friendship, respect, and goodwill. Be part of that world where the doors of opportunity are ready to be opened. Investment from around the world where you can have medical breakthroughs, an abundance of resources, innovative technology, and new discoveries. What if? Can history be changed? Will the world embrace this change? And when could this moment in history begin? It comes down to a choice. On this day, in this time, at this moment, the world will be watching, listening, anticipating, hoping. Will this leader choose to advance his country and be part of a new world? Be the hero of his people? Will he shake the hand of peace and enjoy prosperity like he has never seen? A great life or more isolation? Which path will be chosen? Featuring President Donald Trump and Chairman Kim Jong-un
He put him on the same level.
in a meeting to remake history, to shine in the sun. One moment, one choice. What if? The future remains to be written.
Wow. Kim Jong saw that was like, Dear Donald Trump, thank you for your beautiful film. I think we can, I don't know how to do Korean, let alone North Korean. We can work something out. Your glorious golden Pompidou is shining brightly. One moment already, Moms. Bro, dropping bars. Bro, drop bars. You could just picture Kim Jong-un like just a tear in his eye. It's what I always dream of. Me and Donald Trump solving the problems of the Korea. Like, yeah, man, that is true leadership. So, yeah, maybe Trump's cooking up a little video for Massie, you know. All right, well, yeah, that was a nice brief hour. Thank you guys for joining. This was good times, and I'll see you tomorrow. I got some test results back from, I got 3 people. We're coming up, man. We are coming up. It is up. I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining me. You guys have a blessed rest of your day.